HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This segment of the news is brought to you by BTC, powered by Lime.
Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Good Saturday evening, Bahamas. I'm Charisma Robinson. Thanks for joining us. A stronger police team with extended hours now in place to help fight the crime war in our midst. Today, 150 Defense Force and Marines are working with the force to ensure that a maximum number of police officers are deployed to the front line to tackle crime. Minister of National Security Dr. Bernard Nodge says the response must help put a dent to the current spike in criminal activity in the shortest possible time.
We must, and we will flush out from amongst us the criminals, along with their illegal firearms and drugs, which seem to be fueling crime. I impress upon all who are in possession of illegal guns and firearms to turn them into the police. If they do not wish to turn them into the police, then turn them into a responsible person. I have a unit in the Ministry of National Security. The phone number is 502-3300, to which they can call if they do not wish to interact with the police for some reason or another.
While police are stepping up initiatives and expanding manpower, there is still a concern of the involvement of gangs in our communities and their link to crime. Dr. Nodge says many of these groups are now without leaders, as some of them are in prison or have died. But he says attempts will be made to reach out to these individuals.
We are seeking to interact with them, to dialogue with them, to persuade them that the continued activity is bound to lead to negative impact on them, on the gang members. Because if they go around shooting each other, then nobody wins. And so that is the message. And I would invite the press to assist us in delivering that message. Nobody wins. Nobody wins. A large number of victims are left behind, whether they're parents or whether they're children. The families are significantly injured, and it seems to me that at some point, even the least educated of us must get the message that nobody wins.
Well, just yesterday, Reverend Simeon Hall, along with a group of pastors, offered themselves as mediators to people wanted by police. While Reverend Hall believes the mediation plan by pastors will work to help put a dent in crime, he has concerns about the new crime plan, which allows for 12-hour shifts and Defense Force officers assisting police. In a statement released today, Reverend Hall commended Dr. Nodge, but expressed that he's not satisfied with the new crime plan. In fact, he called the plan too soft, as it does not address the judiciary, particularly as it relates to repeat offenders and the Bail Act. He believes repeat offenders are at the core of our crime problem and was disappointed that Dr. Nodge's plan did not take into account some of the suggestions made by citizens at the recent crime forum. While he believes that the presence of more police in the community will certainly help and will lead to more arrests, Reverend Hall insists that it is our court system that must be tackled. Meantime, a high-level meeting attracting attorneys general, chief justices, and legal practitioners from the region wrapping up in the capital today. Key at the meeting was their re-election of Chairman of the Council of Legal Education, Jacqueline Samuels Brown. The council is the governing body for all law schools in the region, and among the issues discussed during the session was a home for the Eugene DePuch Law School.
The Eugene DePuch Law School is faced with a particular challenge, which is that it does not have a plant, a building that is sufficient or adequate with all the facilities needed to accommodate the law school. So we have been in dialogue with the Attorney, your Honorable Attorney General, and also other governmental offices and officers, and we are hoping that that problem can be solved.
Minister of State for Legal Affairs Damian Gomez says that issue should be soon resolved, while principal of the Eugene DePuge Law School, Tanya Bastian Galana, says it's welcomed news.
We have located a site for where we will build a new law school, and we're trying to find accommodations suitable for what they're doing in the interim. The principal has had both the Attorney General's commitment and my commitment to achieving that end as quickly as we can.
It will relieve and alleviate our current situation. It is, as I understand it, a temporary position insofar as that spot will not be the most ideal location for the law school, but certainly it'll go a very, very, very long way in helping us meet some of the challenges that we face.
In other news, this is considered to be the slow period for the hotel industry. With the summer period done, hotel properties are likely to see a dip in occupancy numbers. Brookfield Hospitality's president and managing director George Marcantone is telling ZNS News that the Atlantis Resort is not immune to the drop-off during this period.
It'll be very soft, probably run in the high 30% occupancy. Generally, we've been a little bit stronger, but that's because we've had a strong group base. This year, and it's a little bit unusual, we will have a lower group base in September and October. Fairly significant, about 15,000 room nights. So it's going to be softer than usual.
Marcantone says the resort property is following its typical fall action plan for the slow period.
We get off the island as many of our staff as we can on their vacations. We offer people unpaid leave or sabbatical time if they'd like to do that. While they're gone, we like to go in and renovate a lot of our facilities, the restaurants, a few of our towers. And generally, we will restrict occupancy in our beach tower, our furthest value tower, and that's typical of every fall. We will shut down the pools in front of the beach tower and the river system so we can do preventative maintenance, paint them, and in the end, we have so much more of a water park, we don't really need to keep little segments open.
Well, Portishead Dock and Arawak Key continue to attract a growing number of visitors and locals. And now the government is moving ahead with plans to transform Portishead Dock. Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources V. Alfred Gray says all government buildings within his ministry have been repaired and repainted. And he shares additional steps being taken to beautify Portishead Dock.
We are now seeking to cause a cleaning of the dock, water washing or whatever method would be used. I'm looking at going to contract soon for the cleaning of the Portishead Dock. We are asking all vendors to paint their stalls over the next several weeks. We will seek to provide paints to those who might not be able to provide the paint. And we want a Junkanoo type color Portishead.
Meantime, Mr. Gray says those 120 food vendors at Arawak Key will not be left out as efforts to beautify that popular hotspot are also underway.
I am looking at putting in waterfalls and benches around which people could sit and just enjoy talk rather than all business. We're going to make that a center of leisure. If we had the money, we would do much more quickly. But we are working with a very scarce resource, and we're doing it as best we can with what we have.
When the weekend edition continues, big bucks donated by Island Luck Web Cafe. That story and more coming up.